much, Dr. Lowe and Tara. Next we'll have Festus Onesimus Amadu, who is a graduate student in the College of Agriculture, Consumer and Environmental Science at our university. He studies peer effects in agricultural extension, evidence of endogenous social interaction, the performance of community knowledge workers in Uganda. But before he comes to the floor, I'd like to thank Brenda for enabling us to be able to tweet. So we should like to encourage you to get on the tweet and get onto hashtag 2014 ASOForum. Thank you so much, Brenda. Festus, you're welcome.
And I'm glad to be here. So I'm Festus Amadu. I'm in the Agriculture and Economics department, the Agriculture and Consumer Economics of the College of ACES. That's the Consumer and Environmental Sciences. And what I'm going to talk about is actually my master's, an excerpt from my master's thesis that I defended recently. But this is going to be very brief. So what I have, this is a bit different. The topic is a bit slightly different from what is in the book. That's because what is in the book was my thesis, and this I try to have it in a more practical way. It is, I call it modeling the effect of extension. The essence is that agricultural extension is very important. We could see from the establishment of the land-grant universities in the 1800s, almost all these universities have extension departments. Like the professor I work for, Dr. Paul Makumara, directs a huge USAID-funded project. It's called MAISE, Modernizing Extension Advisory Services. So there is the very high significance placed on extension. Okay, so when we talk about peer effect, I guess many people here are from the social science background, like social work. That's when you have people imitating the performance of their peers, those they work with. And this has been done extensively in education, like classroom behavior, performance of kids. It has also been done in health and other areas, but it has not been in extension. We don't really have that happening in agricultural extension among agricultural extension workers. There is what we also call spatial analysis, spatial econometrics. It's one of the branches of the area I work. Econometrics is like a major tool in economics. Econometrics generally is a combination of math, economics, and statistics. So when you combine the three, it's called econometrics. So it goes further to have what we call spatial econometrics, from which we have spatial analysis. It involves the issues of managing activities or studying across regions or across space. It has a bit of geography in it, like the first law of geography, which says everything is related to everything else. but nearer things are more related. So from that concept, we have what's called endogenous social effect and exogenous social effect. The issue is if you have 3 people in a group or 10 people in a group, the tendency for me, for example, belonging to that group and reflecting the predominant outcome of the group can be divided mainly into 2 groups, two keywords: endogenous social effect, which is actually the peer effect, and the other one is exogenous social effect, which is the influence of the characteristics of the group bears on me. Like if my friends are from educated homes more than me, there is tendency that their educational background will influence my own background, my own performance. So, social structure. There is what we call social network. So this topic, what I'm doing actually is involved, and there are a lot of things. We have the spatial analysis and there is social network analysis. Social network is when you have a social structure which breeds social interaction, like the issue of Twitter that we just had and talking about, Facebook. You know, if I ask how many friends you have, you probably will say you have 100 or 200 friends, and each of those 200 friends have also friends. So friends of friends or peers of peers. So that's how we take to model the performance of people in a group. And social networks normally are depicted by complex diagrams, which I will show you. You will see like this. It's quite kind of dense. Let's assume you have me in the middle here, having friends and all over. So if you have a group studying them, it has been difficult before, but the econometrics of social networks is making it a bit easier now to identify the effect of peers. All right, so my research question was, how can we model the effect of extension workers? And the motivation is because even though agricultural extension was adopted by like the US, where I come from is a small country in Africa called Sierra Leone, population of about 6 to 7 million. The university where I studied, Jala University, was actually established with help from Illinois, University of Illinois. And there is a strong extension component there. There used to be a strong extension component, but it's almost phasing out. In developing countries, the effect of extension really is not being felt because of resource constraints and the difficulty of working with the farmers. So normally the big farmers, the extension workers stay more with the big farmers. And there is now like the threat of defunding extension. Agencies like USAID or even government are reducing funds for extension because they are not seeing the impact of extension. And it's difficult to actually quantify the impact of extension because of the problem of attribution. If an extension officer gives advice to farmers to increase productivity, when the farmer's production increases, it's very difficult to disentangle that the effect of the extension advice. It could be that agronomic factors led to the production, or weather factor, so it's been very difficult. So what we're trying to do in economics is to see, let's look at the production, the output of the workers involved, the extension workers themselves. So this is an attempt. There is a program in Uganda called the Community Knowledge Workers Program. It's funded by the Gates Foundation. They have farmers, and they take those farmers in those villages, rural areas, they train them and they equip them with mobile phones. And those mobile phones have agricultural database with sophisticated information from top universities and also that are adaptive to this environment. So all the CKWs do is they click in the phone when the farmer has a problem and they check the solution to that problem. So it's high tech, but in the hands of rural people. So that's it. And this is actually anchored in with Grameen Foundation. I guess some of us, or most of us, know about Professor Muhammad Yunus from Bangladesh. He started the microfinance thing, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006 for bringing development from below, from the bottom. So that's the website for Grameen Foundation. That's the map of Uganda, which population of about 5 million and 56% agriculture, and contributing about 45%, almost half of the GDP. And this is the spatial map of the areas where the CKWs operate. In about 35 districts out of the 56. So they are doing pretty well. And Uganda, the main crop is banana, which is called matoke. And this normally is transported on bicycles due to poor road network, as it is with many countries in sub-Saharan Africa. So the CKWs are able to work with these farmers because they live with them, whereas the traditional extension workers of the ministries of agriculture, who normally are from the cities, don't go to those places. So that's the advantage of the program. You see a CKW, for example, training farmers, talking to them how they can improve their production. Now, this is my model. I don't know why it appears like this. After the guy downloaded it, but that's okay. Man, you should have asked me to. Okay, so this actually should be a division line. All right. That's the division line. This is, the model is called linear imins model. We use that to quantify the effect of people in a group, all right? The beta variable, the beta coefficient there is what we use to get for the endogenous effect or the peer effect, and this one is for exogenous effect. The theory is that we can be able to decipher. Before now it was very difficult. There is a professor called Chasmansky at Northwestern University. He came up and said, the linear image model cannot solve the problem because in a group, people normally take the performance of everybody in the group and divide it by total number. Mansky said, no, that's wrong. It's very difficult. So it has been a nuanced process. And other guys, like three professors actually, the lead author is called Ian Bramley from Canada. They stylized this model by bringing in the spatial aspect of it. So that's where it becomes interesting. But I'm trying to make it a bit basic so that we see what's going on. So my data constitute about 16 districts, 650 of those extension workers, and to see what they are doing, I use a panel data, and that's the descriptive statistics. The key thing I'm looking for is the amount of search they do. The performance is based on how many times they check in the phone for agricultural information for the farmer. So that's called search. When the farmer comes to them and say, I need this, and they check in the phone, okay, this is what you need. So that is called search. That's a key variable, and the mean there is 45, and we have all the other variables attached to them. So search is my left-hand side, the rest are right-hand side variables. Very simple to explain that way. This is like showing what's going on. I have 6 months I considered in 2011, 10 and 11. There is, in June of 2011, the program introduced an incentive scheme to motivate these extension workers to do more. So the 3 months that I consider after the extension, the incentive period, seem to be higher in terms of performance. That is December 2011, July 2011, and September. And these other months before the incentive are actually lower. So that tells you the incentive is working somehow. And my result is that with the use of that model, I was able to get about 0.5% of the PI effect, which means that if the performance of a CKW, the peers of a CKW increase by 1 unit, his own performance will increase by almost 50%. I'm almost done, please. Thanks. And that's a picture of them. This is a CKW. We have this thing tested. Ask me about farming. That's the cell phone they use. These are just pictures now. Some of the things we did, like that's me interviewing the CKW. And this is what they use to power the cell phones. So in those areas, if there's no electricity, the program can still function because they have this solar power. So I was inspecting that. And this is some of the terrains, very rugged, very mountainous. That's why the traditional extension workers normally shy away from working with them. But these CKWs, because they live with them, the farmers, they work with them, and they seem to be quite effective in providing extension services. And that's like a poor farmer you could see. That's mainly those are some of the people, they are so poor. Traditional extension workers stay away from them. But these CKWs are always with them because they work in this terrain. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Festus. Next, we'll go to the